Das ist eine coole Stunde hier.
All right, I think that should be working now. Let's.
Any luck? All right, you
test.
keep talking and I'll be listening on the.
Okay.
Well, I don't have speakers plugged in actually here. Let me.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you tell us on the stream if you can hear us?
Yeah, we're good. Okay, we're good to go. Sorry, guys. Sorry, everyone. We had for a moment we had 22 concurrents live on Twitch. I don't know where they came from.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Hey, Michael.
Let's hope they stick around. Hey, Michael.
How you doing?
Yeah, busy.
Busy.
Is he good?
Busy good, yeah, sure. Except for...
Is that because you have a family and a full-time job and a VR app that you're making?
Yeah, full-time job and a VR family, that's true. I mean, I'm currently trying to bang my head around this whole multiplayer spatial thing because I hate transforms and quaternions and all that stuff, and yeah.
Yes. I never did quite get a hang on quaternions.
Yeah, that's a lot of detail that I'd rather not know.
Hey, Jimmy.
Well, I currently have the problem that people aren't where they should be. So you don't actually. You have people in your space, but they aren't where they should be. So that's.
I like the upgrade.
That's a problem. Hey, Jimmy.
Yeah, cool.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, looks good, man.
Hey, Mela.
Hey, yo.
Can we walk in there?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You can,
Yes,
yeah.
we can.
Don't get lost. And he was never seen again.
Next week, when 10 people are stuck in there and they never get out. Trouble, guys.
So, Jess.
Hey,
Hey,
Justin,
Jesse.
do you have the Twitter login? And the tweet's all messed up. I want to go fix it.
What's messed up about it?
It's just tagging the wrong people.
You can't edit tweets.
You have to delete it and start again.
Okay. All right, not worth it. Then.
That's my bad.
That's all right.
Maybe
Did they
those other
retweet it
people are
anyways?
also VR people.
Panoptic did, yeah.
Oh, I meant the random people I tagged.
Hopefully, I don't know.
Maybe they're like, oh, someone's recognizing me.
Hey, Mel.
Hey, yo.
Did I see Philip come in?
Yeah,
Is
he
he
was
around?
just in here. According to the website, he's still in here.
He's probably hiding in the maze.
He's lost in the maze.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. We got Helen. Hey, Helen.
Justin, how are you?
How you doing?
Hey,
Good
Chris.
to see you back in here.
How's it going?
Yeah, I got my
Yeah,
avatar
well,
working.
thanks.
Yeah,
And
it
you?
was great.
I'm doing well.
Hey, Jesse.
How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Great.
gut.
We got
That's fine.
stuff in here today.
Oder? Da sind gerade
Oh.
die meisten.
Cool
So
space in here today, huh?
Well,
Yeah.
a new booth.
Gets
for
better and
traVRsal.
better.
He's got his whole
Yeah.
maze in here. Which is cool.
Hi,
We can go
Jesse.
through that.
Hey, how's it going?
And then
The
Good,
maze
good.
looks awesome.
are here
Hi,
to talk about
Jesse.
their app as well. That'll be great.
It turned out really nice. I'm
That's
so
fun.
glad.
Yeah,
then
it
we
looks
got-
great.
Go ahead.
And the
It
traversal
actually,
symbol up
it actually
above
looks
it.
really bigger
there's
than on the outside. So
Robert
I
or
was
somebody,
kinda
they have
half
this
thinking that
huge,
it may be an impossible space
mauve,
already.
Like, pink rectangle. Avatar.
Yes,
Hey,
actually,
don't see that?
it's so
And it
much
gets
bigger
on
than
your
in the
nerves. I
real
totally
game. It's
recommend
amazing. You feel like a
restarting, and
little
it'll probably go away.
mice or
It's like
something.
a weird trick with avatars where they get stretched out like infinitely. I don't even know what's
Robin,
happening, but
are you keeping track of the
it's already
amount
clear
of
me
polygons and
bugs, so, yeah, I
textures
don't
when
really
you're
solve it.
filling up this space now? Do you have?
And then we also have this kind of
Yeah,
wild
that's becoming a problem now because we have so many assets that it's.
If you wanna,
I was going to talk to Robert
if you
about
wanna be on
his
the Walk of Fame,
assets
you just send
management
me something.
technique because he's got
Oh yeah.
a special way of doing it.
Sure.
Oh,
You can help
really?
yourself is on here,
Cool.
Bella.
Yeah, indeed. So in traVRsal, everybody can contribute worlds, so it cannot be inside of the main
should
package.
be
It has to
on
be
the-
from the outside.
All right.
And so I use addressables and have a Unity plugin for
Yeah.
others to simply
Oh,
package it up.
Yeah, addressables are. Yeah.
Damn.
That's a good
And
point.
once you get it working, so it took me a while to get this stuff working, to be honest,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's so many little things that you have to take care of, and then they change versions all
They
the
gotta
time.
Get
and-
you on here, Mel.
Okay.
But now it's pretty good. So I'm really happy about the system. It's so nice. You can, without updating the app, you can
we've got
bring in new
everything we
content. You
need.
can update content.
We just
So just
So how do they get the
download it
content
yesterday, so
into
there's some
the app?
that are
Do you
still
say they
missing
package
that
it
we
up and then
gotta get in
imports
here,
the
but
package in Unity?
Next week you'll definitely be on here.
They package it up and then they send it to my server. So I have a
Right.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I use
Justin was
an
just thought of it the
DigitalOcean
other
server,
day.
which is compatible. So you have the file system there,
Mel, you're an artist.
And- put there,
Yeah.
and then
Cool.
in my app you can discover
And
it,
what
and I have
company
a
did you
have a
work with,
database
or
where
do you work
people
with?
register their worlds.
We're not a
Then I
company,
can
we're just a bunch
Make the
of
connection between the world and the S3 server.
For
Awesome.
now.
And what is the
Awesome.
file type that you
Hey, guys.
import?
For now.
What's the package like?
Maybe. Or
You should
as
make a
bundle,
company.
I guess.
Oh, we will. Because
Say again?
then we get
Yeah.
Are they
bundles
asset
and
bundles or are they another file
Yes, these are
type?
asset
Cool.
bundles. Yes, it's the
okay.
plain old asset bundles with a
So I'm a narrative
JSON file
designer,
next to it,
in virtual
explaining
reality.
the content
Is he
and
having
giving it
So,
keys
I
and
work with this
everything, and then you can
collective of,
access it
We're
and,
like
at runtime.
kind of technologists, but we're
Typically it's
also
asynchronous,
like
but you-
theater
give 'em a-
in the new
performers.
version have also
And
asynchronous
we're
APIs.
working
minutes
together
we'll
to
do-
design
It's
a
an
live
in-place replacement for the
virtual
resources
reality
folder now.
experience.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I would recommend using the asynchronous stuff because otherwise you have to you block your main
Yeah.
thread.
Storytelling or
Yeah.
more
It's of
like
course not good.
But you, Robin, you will find a lot of YouTube
Narrative
stuff about
storytelling.
addressables.
So it's,
from
Yeah,
the-
it's something I've
we're,
not really
it's like
used
an
before,
original
but
story, and
it
we're
sounds
trying
like it's
to
the way
kind of
forward.
Put together,
Yeah, I guess so too.
almost like
Yes,
a theater
the main
experience
thing I
around
would
it
look
in
for is
virtual
the
reality.
game Guru
Doing well.
block.
But
You described it really well.
Educated.
Game Guru,
And
okay.
help you really to get up to speed. Game Dev Guru, yeah.
Do you know the
It's from the
art
Netherlands.
animation Baba
Really cool
Yaga
guy.
from the
I had some video chats with him.
Boa studio?
And do you have
Yeah,
a
I've heard
sort
of
of
it, I haven't seen it, but
a
yes.
Unity?
Okay.
Oh, where's it? There you are.
Here.
Do you have like a
Generally a night owl
sample
in
project
the
or something that you
morning.
send people that they can use to test it before they send it? How does that work?
Yes, so I have a offline editor which connects to your local Unity, and then you can play through and see how it looks like. And I have 3 different channels. So I have an alpha channel, a beta channel, and a live version. And you can publish your assets into each of any of those channels. And then only if you have the app for the right channel, then you see the updates.
Okay.
So you can test it
Yeah,
out online, you can
I've
test it
made-
out in the
I've heard a
editor
lot of good things about it. I just
locally,
haven't
and
gone
then
around
once
to
you're
it.
satisfied, you push it to live.
It's, I'm glad
That's
to
very
hear
cool.
you enjoyed it.
I think I'm gonna have to try.
Yeah, I actually
and, build
I
some
needed
stuff
to
with
add the
traVRsal.
alpha channel yesterday because Oculus is so slow with its review process, and I didn't want to disrupt the beta channel because I let them review the
Oh,
beta
art is
channel,
so
so I needed to
hard.
introduce the
I
alpha
mean,
channel now, so I can continue to work.
Like I
You've used up
recently
all of the
started
Greek letters now. What
building,
comes
virtual
before
worlds in
alpha?
VR chat.
Yeah, I was
And
joking
just
yesterday.
getting, like,
Someday we have
meshes
the Omega
and the
channel or
lighting
the whatever.
and all that stuff. It's just so it takes so many hours. I mean, I really respect virtual
But
art.
today is cool. We have so many people. Nice.
I think it's because they ran a
So
side
out of
quest
all
promotion.
the
So
immersive or the
when I
3D
went
or
to
the
side quest
virtual
today, it was
experiences that
I had
you've
the
seen,
spatial
like,
app as a
what's
promo.
one where the art is like in your opinion
cool.
one of the best that you've seen.
Yes, a dream.
Yeah,
Yes,
hopefully
so
we'll see some new faces.
the app was
Like all the,
published
like, 3D
yesterday.
stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
It already got some
It's
reviews in, I
VR
saw.
space.
So we all need to put in some reviews.
I will check on this.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I saw you.
Yeah,
had
I wrote a
review,
bit.
Actually, it was
Compound.
good.
Otherwise, no worries.
Yeah, I saw you had written a review. It was good.
It
I was
takes
going to
the
put one.
art of art.
Hey Robert, do you have
The
on App Lab? Do you have feedback on not feedback or numbers of on your daily users?
That's in the art
I'm
just-
not on AppLab yet, so I'm still.
That's the
Oh
best
shit!
one.
Oh,
Oh.
you saw.
Where did I go?
Although they all
Right.
look pretty
more
I'm always pressing the wrong buttons here.
or artsy stuff, and not
doesn't
this
seem
No, I'm
like
still
you
waiting for the approval. So
Oh,
this is really
shit. Okay.
a bit of a
Because I
pain.
wanted to-
So I'm in week 5 now. So I hope. But I read from somebody yesterday. He's on week
I mean, it's
9.
differ in this, but I think we gotta get
I
without
was,
hearing anything.
I was like 50 days or something, so 7 weeks was in my review time.
Okay.
I'm
But the thing is,
And
is,
I
it
heard
was-
from somebody else yesterday. They are re-reviewing apps already
Say going live now,
Huh.
but
Oh, cool.
You guys
to make
that
sure
help
the
yourself,
permissions
guys,
are
what-
still intact.
Yeah.
These help yourself
also the
guys
people
did
don't
like
sneak in new permissions they
20
didn't
days.
ask before.
Your mic is kind of going on and off. a little bit.
The help yourself guys got
Yes,
theirs
exactly.
approved
So
in
they,
like 20
they are now
days.
telling people to remove permissions.
Okay.
Jimmy, that's because of things we are not able to talk about now. That's not the official way.
Yeah, I'm not hearing.
You got in the back door.
I don't know.
Okay, that makes sense.
You had a shortcut.
Ah, do you have a trick? Do you have some a hint?
Okay.
Philip, you can talk in German. Nobody
the
understands.
permissions now or something else?
COVID, I was actually
No, it's
like the year
okay.
a year or two
I only
before
can
COVID. I
say
was
that
actually
we are
in
in
Vienna.
contact with
So,
Oculus, and that's about
very
it.
cool.
It doesn't get too more exciting, but
They have that Oculus accelerator, right?
Hello.
Yeah.
The thing is,
good luck with that.
the funny thing is that it took them 50 days to review the VR workout. Even now that I learned, they had actually people inside Oculus being excited about the game. So it's kind of funny that they still took 50 days to review it.
oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's just 150 billion company, so they have only 3 people, I guess, on the show.
Yeah. They're supposed to have 10,000 people in that division, you know, in their,
Yeah.
in their reality labs.
I don't know. I can
10,000 people not approving App Lab submissions.
Are you guys doing anything with the new Pico?
Not that
Like the
Well,
new
I mean,
with the
I
App Store
hope
that they have just opened?
I hope that they would do something, but since they are still doing the consumer product only in the Asian market, it's probably a bit hard to get some traction there. I mean,
Hey, Helen.
I'm trying to
Hey,
get
Bastian.
one. I'm trying to
Working any
support it, but
I think so.
yeah, it will take some time.
Are you in contact already with them? So I just contacted them yesterday.
Sounds better.
Well,
Do you
they
wanna
contacted
start,
me a few
Justin?
months ago when the Pico 3 wasn't out there
What's
yet,
that?
and asked me if I want to port VR
Should
workout, and they would
we,
even help
I
to
think
port
we'll-
it.
Justin.
But
How's
back
it going,
then
Robin?
they didn't really
what were
have
you saying?
hand tracking or
I think we'll
anything,
Yeah,
so
good,
it was
thanks. Helen, how are
pointless
you?
to
I'm
port
pretty
it.
good.
Okay.
And now I'm
I'm
trying
on
to get
the
contact
camera
with them
today,
again.
so I'm having to
They
learn how
started
to
following me today
control
on
the
Twitter,
camera
so I
guy
hope
whilst
they
also
took notice that there
being
may
in
be
the
an option
space.
to get VR workout on
That's
the
the camera.
on the
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I can turn him
Yeah,
around and
you guys
move
want
him
to,
about a bit.
kick off here? Maybe
Yeah,
all
let's
meet up in the middle over here.
Thanks.
Check out the walk of
At
fame
the
here that we
intersection?
put together.
Oh, a walk of
Yes,
fame.
at the intersection.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Cool. Well, I think you want to bring the camera over here. Yeah, there we go. We all pretty much know each other at this point, but I think it's still nice to do a little update from each person on how things are going that week. You guys feel free to give feedback on that if you don't think it's useful, but we'll do it today. And when we do go over to Panoptic, I would love for really the questions to come from all of you guys if you have them. So we'll try that first. Okay. I guess we'll go clockwise to Robin. I'll start. So I'm Justin. Y'all know me, host here at Spatial Ape. And the 2 things I'm looking for this week are the same as last week, which is we are looking for someone to lead product design. We're still looking to fill that role, and we are looking for product feedback in here. So if anyone has ideas, things that go wrong, just let me know, and we'll try to get them fixed for next week.
Cool. My name's Robin. Hello, everyone that I haven't met before. Today I'm working the camera as well as being in the space. So if I look like I'm away from my keyboard, I'm probably moving this guy around trying to get a good shot. If you see any good shots, let me know and I'll dive in there. So yeah, and I'm also working on Grand Reality, which is a piano app for Quest, and also helping out building this space.
I'm Jesse. This past week, been working on some this space in here, but also putting out our first newsletter ever. So got that out this morning. I think hopefully most of you guys were on there. If
It was a
you
great
weren't,
one, yes.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
so
anyone else have feedback about that, like the format of it, or other things you'd want to see in there?
I enjoyed it.
At the moment, it's
Awesome.
just really like a recap from last week and then just community updates, which a lot of I pulled from all of your guys' Twitters. But if you guys have updates you'd want us to share, definitely send them my way, and I can work them into the next newsletter. And if you weren't on the newsletter this week and just signed up within the past day, you'll probably be on there next week. So keep an eye out for that on Thursday mornings.
Cool.
Hey,
Bastian?
Hey, I'm Bastian. I'm one of the developers for Panoptic over there, so I'm guessing we'll explain that when we get to that. And yeah, we basically work with Moko Senpai, with Thomas on the title for now, and been approached by Jesse over on Twitter to come and have a little chat and just check out the app. So yeah, hi.
Very cool.
Hi everybody, my name is Helen. I'm from Canada. I'm a narrative designer in virtual reality. I'm part of a collective called Immersive Theater Collective, where we're bringing together kind of virtual reality technologists with storytellers and kind of theater folks, and we're trying to put together a virtual reality interactive theater experience.
Cool.
So I'm always interested to talk to anybody about like narrative and storytelling in VR and how to kind of combine the technical and the storytelling aspects of it together in a new way. So nice to see everybody again.
Nice to see you.
Okay, guys. You know me, you know me, you know me. I know you. You don't know me, you know me. However, some of you know me, others will know me. However, you know me. No, I'm a developer. I love to be here. It's a great community, and I just say, go on like this. Do more.
Awesome.
Yeah, Marcel, my name. I'm also a developer, trying to get a foot into the XR scene, and I'm also enjoying this group here. In general, Spatial Ape. I think it's going well already, and yeah, like staying here. Yeah.
Good deal. Hi guys, I'm Jimmy. I'm interested in XR VR really from the productivity side of things. So that's where my focus is, looking at the industry and where it's taking enterprise applications or other productivity environments. And I really like this group because you guys are on the cutting edge of getting things done in that space and in each of your developments. And I appreciate learning from you, and I hope to keep doing it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Philip. I'm from Help Yourself. That's a VR puzzle shooter with clones and time loops. Yeah, I'm always happy to be here. It's awesome. I think that's enough.
Hi, I'm Melle. I'm also from Help Yourself, and I'm the 3D artist and art director. And I really love these weekly meetups because we can talk about nerd stuff, and that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Fully agree. So hi, I'm Robert. I'm the developer of traVRsal, and I contributed this huge booth over there. I'm really surprised how big it is, actually. I'm super happy about it. So this has been my project for the last 1.5 years. It's an impossible spaces thing, and you can also contribute worlds. So as an update, I'm super happy now that the first 2 community worlds will appear soon, and they are super awesome. It's really great. Lots of stuff coming there. And I'm still waiting for my App Lab approval, so that's also going on. And other than that, I really have to applaud you here what you created. It's really amazing to see this grow week after week. And I always join, sometimes not in VR, but only on Twitch. But I'm always there, and it's really my fixed point in the week to be there.
Amazing.
All of you. Cool.
Yeah, hi, I'm Michael. I'm developing a fitness game, VR workout. So. Developed mainly for myself, but it has kind of grown a life on its own. This week I tried to poach Melle, but she didn't bite, so she's still with Help Yourself. Yes. Always trying to be on the edge of what's possible with the VR headset, especially if in kind of movements. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Way to stay on your ground, Mel.
Yeah, way to stay true.
Learn
cool.
to say
Let's
no.
go talk about Panopticon.
Lucas just ran over here.
Is he here? Oh, yeah, he's let's see what he's doing. Lucas. Oh, where'd he go? Oh, he came over
Disappeared.
here. What's up, Lucas?
Oh, there.
Me, Lucas?
How you doing?
Oh, okay. Hey, sorry, I was having an issue with my speakers, but no, I think they're working.
All good now.
Yep.
You're the last one. If you want to do a quick intro.
What is it? We're just going around and doing intros?
Yep, just who you are and if you're looking for anything in particular today.
Hey, I'm Lucas. I'm working on a project to make cheap VR haptic gloves. Mostly as like a DIY project for now, but looking to get them as far as possible. And I was looking to meet some other really cool people in the VR dev space.
Awesome. Very cool. Okay, we're gonna go over to the Panopticon booth and ask those guys some questions.
This looks super cool.
Yeah, it really does.
Wow.
Okay, so I know everyone's got good questions today, so I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to ask one question, and then the rest are going to come from you guys. And if no one says anything, I'm going to be silent, and it's going to be awkward, so someone better ask something. Please.
Where's Robin's music?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Robin didn't make the cut this week. He'll be back in, though.
That's bad.
Cool. Well, I guess just to kick off, can you tell us what Panopticon is, where did the idea come from, and, how long you've been working on it?
I guess, yeah, if you want to, I can do it, but I can tell you what Panoptic is, just not what Panopticon is. But
Oh, sorry. You're right.
No, it's okay.
You're so right.
No,
it's not.
Oh, okay. Very, you'll note it on the notepad. No, but so it's a two-player game, VR versus PC, and you play like either as the huge mask that you see behind. That's the VR player, and he tries to shoot with a laser the usually small PC player, who's like this guy, and you can also see lots of them on the walls at the top of the booth. And yeah, basically it's like a hide and seek game where the VR player has to find out which of the NPCs is controlled by the PC player, and the PC player has to like hide around, hide in the crowd, and try to destroy some objectives around the level to win. I guess that's
Very
it.
cool.
Yeah, basically, is the game.
How many levels
Alright,
are there?
I've-
Or how big is that game?
Many levels? 8.
Yes. So 8
was a
for
easy
now.
question. Yeah.
I've got a question for you. I was hearing over at the beginning, just when you guys came in, that you've known each other since you were very young and now are building this game together. What kind of spurred the two of you to join up and decide to make a VR game? And then what was the drive to make this kind of hide and seek type of game, or what was the idea behind that?
Want to go?
Go.
So we basically, so as you said, we do know each other for a long time, but and we've been fans of game jams for basically a long time now. And we had a common friend who we met at a game jam that had like a VR headset, and it was our first opportunity really to make a VR app. And so we went to a game jam in Gamescom in 2016. And that was just the opportunity to try VR, and we were actually a team of 5 people at the time, and we made Panoptic, like the first version of it with 1 level during that game jam, and that got good a reaction. So we decided, well, what the heck, we want to make games, so let's continue and work on this one. So yeah,
Awesome. Nice.
When I see that concept, I did not play it yet. About playing on the headset and a different device. What would you think about, or maybe you already thought about, combining the headset with, for example, a tracked augmented reality phone? Would that be an option for you?
Good question. We haven't really thought about that. We were basically directly focused on the current setup, so PC and VR. we had some thought about doing just simply phone, so no AR or no like a,
Alright.
a more complex integration. But basically that was a step further than what we had planned at the beginning. Like we thought, how long did we say before? We were like, oh, if we did the first version in a weekend, we can be done in 6 months or something. Is that what we said? Yeah, it was like 4 years ago, right? So.
Yeah.
Can you guys talk a little bit about the design decisions that you made having to combine kind of VR interactions with kind of the PC interactions and the kind of the frictions that you guys encountered and how you kind of solve those problems?
Sure thing. So basically, the like in general, there wasn't too many problems. Once we got the initial, oh yeah, we need to have the two cameras working at the same time. But down the line, when we were like refining the art style and everything, it became basically a matter of performance. Like that was the main issue is like, yeah, you have to render the game at both scales at the same time, and so that was maybe pushing Unity a little bit. It's at some points, like because you wanted to have good details at the PC scale, but also you're rendering the same level at like, I think you're 30 times bigger.
Yeah, 30 times bigger. Yes.
Yeah. So you really have like a different outlook on the whole level, and so yeah, I think that was the main friction point. The other one was the user interface, where we basically wanted to have the same user interface for both players. We did end up compromising a bit on that because we made a special like in-game menu for the PC player when you can change like the standard options that you don't really need in VR. But the whole main menu we had to do like a custom UI system to make it sure it worked the same way for the PC and the VR, because we did not want to use the controllers. Basically, I didn't explain that, but the mechanic when you shoot the laser, you do that with aiming with your head, and we wanted to teach that in the main menu, so we had to do a system that lets you select buttons by shooting them, and so we had that, and we wanted to make a similar thing for the PC player to have like an integrated interaction like a system there. But that's it. Can you think of something else that we had for
except the bug with the particle effect?
Yeah, which I guess like we ran into like a couple of nasty bugs from Unity from time to time, where like oh okay, when you do this and this combined, then the thing broke. But yeah, I think yeah, mainly performances of you combining the two issues code wise and everything. But in terms of design, that was pretty like you have two very separate roles, so it was really a matter of designing like two games or the two experiences side by side, basically.
Do you still keep both tracks? Do you develop for Pancake Mode 2D and also maintain a VR app?
So you have to play with both at the same time for this one. So there's no way to only play in VR, for example. So yeah, we do have two at the same time. Oh yeah, and it's local only. So we've been checking out some options with online, but for now it's local multiplayer. So also the same app that runs both at the same.
Yeah, the idea was because the VR at the beginning was really something that you do alone, because it's not it's difficult to interact with other people when you are in VR, and we was thinking, okay, maybe it's a good idea to have a sort of party game that you can play with another person on a PC, like a party game, and you can just play with people and try to taunt each other and say, yeah, you don't see me, or so on, and then it's become more social game because you are both you see the same game but with different scale, and
yeah, because at the time we experienced a lot of VR with just like VR party. It wasn't yet like like these kind of like rich spaces with like good avatars and everything. It was really like bare bones at the time. So yeah, it was a big. That's true. It was a big.
And do you have that now with multiplayer, with some people participating on a 2D and some people in VR?
Yeah. But again, like,
okay.
you cannot play the game without that. So yeah.
So
I
is
mean,
there is there a limit in
I'm sorry.
multiplayer, meaning the amount of players? So in general, it is one player in VR having the headset on and is head gazing, the PC player, right? And since we were talking about multiplayer, is there like from your game plan, is there a limit of if it goes that way of how many PC players should be there in the game? Is there a limit you have in mind already?
For now, the limit is the one we implemented, which is one PC player.
But for the future.
There's so basically the game being released now. So it's been released since the end of last year. Where like we're looking at options, maybe to add like a 4v1 or something. But it's more a background thing with like we have other projects now. So if time and interest is there, or if there's like we have an intern that wants to try that, or stuff like that, I don't think there's much that would like prevent us to do that, except again performances and stuff. The game was designed 1v1, so we made the maps like work for one player versus several. It would be more of a if people want to play with more people, we can add that. It would probably not be like a very super design. Like, for instance, I'm also looking at Thomas. He says it. Okay. And just so Jimmy, I don't know. I think I misunderstood maybe your question earlier, because I saw you like my answer was maybe not what you were getting at.
Well, no, I mean, I do understand what you're saying a bit more now, but okay. If you have if I want to play with my friend and we both have headsets, I assume that's also possible, right?
Yeah, but so for now, there's no way to do that, and it's mostly due to the motion. Like the PC player plays like a FPS, a standard FPS controls and stuff, and we did not want to have like a smooth movement. And so we decided not to go the route of the two worlds being played in VR, basically.
Okay.
How did you? Go ahead, Robin.
I was just going to ask about like growth and how you found, because you've been around for a few years now in terms of launching quite relatively early on, and I'm wondering whether you saw immediate users coming on board and that has been steady over the years, or whether you've seen spikes when new headsets were released. How have your user numbers grown over the years?
Go.
Okay, yeah, it's been mostly stable. Actually, there was a slight upward trend after a couple of bigger YouTubers like made a video about the game, and so like that had like a little spike effect. But we've been pretty stable at I don't want to say like 10 to 20
10 games per day.
Yeah.
I don't check the number today, but it's almost 10 games per day regularly.
Yeah,
like each week, it's the average.
Yeah, and so of course, like we have the regular boost when we do a sale, and like that kind of thing. But it's extremely steady, and it's apparently something that other developers, like I don't know what you guys like experiences are if you have the same thing, but it seemed to be like a very long tail rather than the usual like exponential like drop off.
In Space Horror Trainer, I have the same things. Really regular sales.
Yeah, same takeaway, I think. Until I guess the Quest or something, like when they were included in some of the headsets. But yeah.
Are you making enough revenue to support yourselves?
No, not with the game. Not with the game. No.
Not quite.
I mean, it's enough to where the two full-time employees for the studio, but we're also like giving classes and stuff like that to supplement the revenue from the game.
Oh, cool.
But we got some funding for Panoptic. For the next project, we also got some funding. So we need to combine like a few different like revenue source to sustain ourselves. But it does help. Like it does amount to.
It's really help. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's the butter in the Spanish.
Spinach. Yeah.
How did you do these? these great marketing images over here. I love your screenshots.
Oh, thanks.
Thank
So most of those have been made with like like basically the two on the left have been done with like a custom like hand camera that you could like put on a controller and just like look around. We use that for trailers and stuff. And the other two are just made from the perspective of the PC player actually. So that's how most of those happened. And yeah, most of the ones we did actually were with the third person camera, so we could show the scale difference of the two players.
How do you create your art? Are you doing it yourself, or you buy the assets somewhere?
No. We have a 3D artist on the team that did almost of all the assets, the 3D assets. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you. Like we'll pass it along.
Have you guys had to migrate those over time, because you've been around for a long time? As the hardware has been, more performant, have you been able to increase your assets? The triangle.
Yeah. Actually, we had a big bump. So if you look up Panoptic, you might find still some very old videos from 2016, 2017, where we had like a free demo that we released with basically the jam version with some adjustments, and those have a bit of a different art style, and we definitely had a huge bump when we were like, okay, now let's do the full version and go with something more detailed. But if anything, it's been then a trend of try to decrease the triangle counts because we saw that because we were more ambitious with the level. So for example, I'm just looking at the screenshots, but the top left, which is one of the first levels we made, is like in a huge cavern with like holes we dug out with a voxel based terrain system. And that's like a huge mesh that we have to render almost at the same time. And so, yeah, it's been more a question of like being over enthusiastic, putting a lot of stuff there, and then realizing that maybe we should like decrease.
What's the next big project you guys are working on? If you don't mind telling a little bit about it.
Can we?
No worries if not.
No, we can maybe just tease a little bit, meaning that it's going to be a Quest project. I guess we can say that much, like a Quest-specific project with some Quest-specific features. So that's
okay.
Cool.
Hopefully we will talk about it soon, but like it's not quite yet.
Yeah. And what was the process like in both getting funding for this game and your next project?
So basically, for this one, we got funding from a Belgian like game fund, basically, who's like very like instrumental in funding a lot of games. I think what helped is that we undersold or underestimated the budget we needed for the game, so that helped getting the little funding we had. But there was still like a good help. We also went at first with a publisher. Which then stopped working in VR, so we basically like parted ways and everything. But it was always like relatively easy. I'm going to put higher quotes there, but because of the like, we were really focused on the core idea, so like the two-player thing with like the simple mechanics and the scale differences, what like mostly would work, and so. When we explained it that way, like the government was like, okay, that seems like innovative enough, especially at the time, to help. And the new project was actually the same thing. So we basically pitched something, like a couple main mechanics. And we're like, okay,
small pitch.
Yeah, like it's really like it's a couple of slides, and we got like a good response of that, and that's just from that small pitch that we got the funding then. It was for more like specific. There was like a design brief, and we answered that brief, and that's what got us the.
Yeah. Is Belgium a hotspot for VR game dev? Because I feel like I've seen several apps, a surprising number of apps being developed from Belgium.
There's a few. I don't know if I would like I would dare say it's like a hotspot, but we do have stuff like again like the guys from Space Pirate Trainer.
Yeah, and also Cubism.
Cubism too. Yeah, Thomas was in here last week.
Oh yeah, but that's where you saw the.
Thomas was part of the was one of the member of the game jam that when we did the Panoptic. We really know well Thomas.
Yeah, it's actually his fault, kinda, because he was the common friend that had the VR headset. That was Thomas. So
that's great.
So basically, Belgium is a hotspot for fries and chocolate. That's all what I know.
That's for sure. I think that's
beer. You forgot
beer
beer.
as well. I guess that's be confident.
So, in terms of level design, you said I played the game, by the way, earlier. I don't know, it might be 2017 or something like that. With I think the first level. Didn't play the other levels yet. So, in terms of level design, do you see specifically about this game? Do you see any restrictions? Like, do you have had ideas that you basically had to put away because it didn't work out?
We had ideas that we put away because we did not have the time to do that. If we want to release the game in time. But I don't think we put ideas because it was not doable. Maybe.
No, like we had to simplify some stuff.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Because the time.
Yeah, it was mostly the time constraint. But we did notice that as long as we gave the levels like a general shape, like if you now see all the levels, they have a very distinct like. This one is very open at the beginning that closes in some parts. This one is very linear and you have to go around the space. Or like we each had like we could sketch a small shape diagram of the level, and we found that that's led to levels that did not feel similar, and so that was good. But at the same time, we also have two levels that do like go from the same principles because we put back the initial level we had, like we remade that with the new art style. And we also, in the meantime, had developed a level that's like kind of the same, but went the other way and stuff like that. So not exactly the same, but inspired. And nobody never ever told us like, hey, those two levels they look kind of similar. So it's,
at the beginning, we was thinking not put the demo level on the game, and people asked for that. Then we did because people asked. But at the beginning, was the plan was just not have the demo level on the game. To be honest.
To add onto that question, do you also about the level design? Do you see, or did you see that? There were not on restriction side, but that one player, like the VR player, had a disadvantage in that level compared to a different level, like with the openness and closed parts and so on. Do you had to change stuff or open it up to make it easier for the VR player?
Yeah, so we did change stuff, but it's a hard game to balance because the first game you're gonna play on a specific map versus the fifth is gonna be completely different because at the beginning, I think well, if you're used to play VR in general, I think you're gonna be better at the beginning, and then it's gonna reverse. Nowadays, I think like we had streams where Thomas, you were playing against the audience in VR, and I don't think you lost a game or something just because like once you know the levels, then it's easy enough and you know the tells of the player. But so yeah, that's hard because you have to balance the first impression where like you want stuff to be hard for the VR player but also for the PC player, but at the same time the PC player doesn't know the level either. So yeah, it's hard. But so. Yeah, basically, if you have some space that are open and some space that are more safe for the PC player, usually it seems to work like okay.
I have a question. How are you in contact with your player base? So you mentioned streams. So you do streams, and do you have a Discord server or reviews? And let's talk about community.
Sure.
we have a Discord, then people can come and talk with us, ask questions. Basically, when you do a network version of the game, and we have streamed sometime at the just before the release. We did a lot of stream each.
Oh,
where are you? Each Friday, we did stream. We was playing with against people to our game, and yes,
how could you play it against them when it's locally
because
only?
you with Steam you have play remotely together.
Ah, yeah.
No,
okay.
and then you.
I see.
It was good enough. We managed one time to do a tournament, but at some point, the connection was becomes bad here. We were in the office, then we was forced to stop to do that. But yeah, at some point it was working. Bastien, come back, please. I don't speak English so well.
That was
It
great.
works good.
Maybe that's a good segue to maybe move to Robert's booth. But thanks so much for all the information. I mean, that was incredible.
Thank you.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
I will
a
definitely
lot.
check out this game. It looks really cool.
Yeah, I invite you to check out the game, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you catch that, but I really love the design because it's really clever. Because the small mask is an inverted version of the big mask. If you put the big mask in Photoshop and invert the colors, they are exactly like the small mask, and the stripes are also complementary.
The
It's a
thing
really
is,
clever design.
when we start the game at the beginning of the game jam, the mask of the giant was the same color of this guy, and just I think 10 minutes before closing the game jam, we decide to inverse the color, and we say, okay, it's good, and that was a lucky shot about that. To be honest.
That's a nice story.
Nice catch.
Why you have a gun?
Why don't you have a gun?
Okay.
Famous
That's the
last
right
words.
question you're asking there. Okay. So this is our T-shirt cannon, and how this works is if you catch the shirt, we'll ship a real shirt to your house. Got it? So normally we do this at the end, but some of us already know Robert, so maybe that talk will be a little more casual, and we can kind of go through the maze and have a little more fun. So I thought we'd do the T-shirt cannon now, if you guys want to.
Cool.
All right, so we're going to mix it up this week. I want everyone to get up on the ledge. Up here.
Oh boy. You mean
Up here.
Ah, nice.
Okay.
Good view.
I think that's a really cool feature, by the way, that you can kind of like a toy, so you can teleport to these ledges. That's a cool little feature.
Yes.
Please keep. All right.
Are we gonna race to it?
Can I steal your
Yeah.
gun?
Oh yeah.
and
You're
I
gonna
take
race
it?
to it. Yeah. No, you can try. You can try, but you can't. All right.
Cool feature.
All right, Robin. Are we on the stream? All right. All right. When I say VR, we're all gonna go for it. Okay. Okay. Ready, set, VR.
Oh.
Oh, I missed it.
Ooh, Lucas.
Wait, I got it?
Lucas,
Yeah. Lucas, you got it.
I think you got it.
Yeah. Congratulations, Lucas.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Oh, thank you.
Hey.
Okay.
Now
We'll
the
be
commander is
Lucas.
gone.
We'll be look out for us to follow up and get your shipping info.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to wear it in a video.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome.
Promo.
Oh,
That one
there's
doesn't
another
count.
one.
That one doesn't count. No.
Okay.
No, we can't afford it. We can't afford it.
I love the idea of putting like real life consequences to stuff you do in VR. Like, I want to see more of that
for
kind of
sure.
stuff happen around the industry.
You got,
But not for
specific
shooters.
ideas?
Yeah.
One thing I was thinking of
Yes.
making a video on is making like a VR storefront where you can buy things like in VR and then it'll get mailed to your house.
For sure, that'd be really cool. Yeah, if you want to collaborate on something, maybe. So we have like one of the businesses that we run is called Workroom, and it's basically e-commerce. And so we represent like some big apparel brands like skateboards.com and stuff like that. And so we have a library of products that we could maybe collaborate with you on that with.
Ooh. Yeah, we could do a collab video. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Cool. I'll be brainstorming.
Yeah.
Justin, should we go over to the Alcake booth and say quick note about them before going over to traVRsal?
Sure. To be totally honest, I don't know much about them.
Yeah, I can just. They sent me something to just say quick.
Okay,
about
cool.
them.
Okay, cool.
Robert here will say that they're not here.
No problem. I was like, where are you?
Disappear.
I was looking at you, and you disappeared.
At one point, Robin, these were animating.
Did the animation
maybe.
stop?
One person.
Yeah, maybe they froze.
Yeah, something happens in between earlier today and now, and I'm not sure why they stopped working.
Okay.
No, I saw the animations when I came in.
They were
Maybe they
working.
stopped after a while.
Yeah,
Were they?
they were super cool when they first came
I was
in.
watching them.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
it runs
Yeah,
through
I was
once
watching
and then
them during
stops.
Yeah, I saw them watching.
They got nervous.
Because the Medusa
They got
falls
nervous,
backwards,
yeah.
doesn't she?
Yeah.
Turn to stone.
So
Turn to stone.
yeah, these guys.
Well, it's still
a
animating
team-
for me.
Team of two that just wanted to make a both casual and potentially hardcore kind of VR shooter, if you want it to be that way, with reloading that is unique to their game and still provide a very realistic experience. I think this is their first game that they've worked on. It looks super cool. They've got a cool trailer on it and have a Discord set up. We'll have a link to more information about it on the Spatial Ape site, but they were not able to join because their Quest wasn't working, and unfortunately Spatial Ape doesn't work with other headsets at the moment.
Not
so
yet.
we might see
I
them
think
back.
Alec is on the stream, so if anyone has a question.
Yeah.
Hey, Alec.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving us the assets. They look great.
Yeah, they look really good.
They look awesome. Yeah.
By the way, if you guys ever want a download link or know how to follow up with these apps, if you click this "Send Me Info" button right here on the terminal, you'll get an email with all those links.
Yeah.
If I hit it twice, do I get 2 emails?
Probably, Philip. Probably.
You can have as many emails as you want.
Nice.
Oh, emails can be handled.
Don't
Oh,
let's not
Alec,
find
if
out.
you can hear us, I hope this is not your girlfriend.
Good point, Chris.
He's not
I
here.
don't know. She's pretty tall. She could reach all kinds of things for you. Should we go? Alex, sorry that we can't do you better justice here. Hopefully, we'll get you in here one of these days. But thanks thanks for at least sending that stuff over.
We might come back and make more fun of you.
Alright,
Robert,
should
you
we
want
head over?
to show us the
Yeah,
maze?
let's go over to the next
yeah,
booth, traVRsal.
Let's get lost.
Who's next?
All right.
Should I do a small pitch here?
Yeah, outside.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is actually a live export from one of the worlds in traVRsal. So maybe a bit to terminology. So in traVRsal, it's all about locomotion. So I wanted to make a game where you don't have to do any controller moved locomotion, like a smooth locomotion, or you have to teleport or things like that. You simply walk through the world, so it means you need a bit of a play space. It's like 1.5 by 1.5 meters at minimum. And it scales with your play space, and it creates a world that fills that space. And it will create it in a way that once you turn a number of corners, you will end up in a new environment. So it tricks your brain somehow into thinking you do an indefinite walking around, in constantly having new environments, challenges, and puzzles, and so on. And that's the basic premise of traVRsal. And it's using these impossible spaces to make that happen. And there are. So my aim was not to create one huge game because I'm a single developer and it's really hard to create that in impossible spaces and to make it a meaningful story experience and so on. And so I decided I want to make multiple smaller experiences that each have their unique aspects to it.
Dropped.
And this is what I've been working on. So we have
oh no.
7 experiences.
Oh no. Oh no.
Cannot
Get onto the ledges. Sorry.
So I can just wait for dropping.
Just don't move. That's the best.
I'm gonna quit and come back.
Yeah.
I always wanted to see that in action.
So it might be that if you move, you fall. No, you're okay.
Yeah.
You're moving.
Okay. Robert seems to be immune.
Oh.
Maybe it's stopped.
No.
That's
I want to
good.
be in the impossible space below.
That would be a feature for
So
the
the others
game.
just have
A
to
second
come back
floor.
and then.
I think
then
they
it
should
should be
spawn
fine.
over there. I thought they should spawn over there, but they seem to have gone, maybe.
I see them come behind you. Yeah.
No, I'm back.
Did everyone go?
Cool. People coming back.
Did you guys not spawn back into the space, or did you just go up and down?
No, storm back over there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's no collider on this thing here.
I restarted
Did you
my.
get rid of them? I cannot
Oh, well,
teleport
no.
on those things
There
here
goes one.
anymore.
Oh yeah, you're right. On
Oh,
this
whoa.
booth, you can't. That's
Robin,
weird.
I think he
I have a
doesn't sell it.
quite an interesting observation because I
Yes.
dropped. I think 5 minutes ago I switched it off and switched it on, but as it was still dropped through the floor now, so I still started dropping with all of you, even though I was in there a lot shorter than you all were.
Yeah,
It
it
doesn't-
must be a server thing, I think.
Yeah, must be. Otherwise, we wouldn't all
like-
drop at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
Yeah, well, we entered almost at the same time, but I re-entered a few minutes ago, so I'm kind of the control group.
Yeah, more testing is
really
needed.
Really need to fix that one. We have not figured it out yet.
The allocate animations are animating again.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. That's a silver lining.
There you go.
For me,
Yeah, we
they
did that on
don't.
purpose.
No, you have to restart
So
the app, I
I
guess.
think the animations are not
Yeah.
synced between all the players.
No,
here.
they're independent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
We need to once we fix the floor bug, we'll just add it back in as a trapdoor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the others cannot get the t-shirts.
Okay, Robert, you want to keep going?
Yeah, listen, let me just continue from there. So what I did is I created lots of smaller experiences where I wanted to showcase certain things that I personally find exciting in VR. And so each of those worlds have something unique. So this one here is an export I did yesterday from one of the zones. So each world is divided into zones which connect with each other. And this is from the pyramid, where you have a certain maze section. So you only have a flashlight and it's all dark and you have to go through the maze with the flashlight, and there are traps coming from the ceiling and from the sides, and you have to collect some artifacts in there and then find the exit. So that's the maze experience. And then there's a shooter where you can actually shoot enemies, and they come back. They also, the enemies, they walk through the maze with you, so it's quite a bit of technical challenge to have agents go and navigate through impossible spaces, but that works. And then there's a completely different experience. It's a virtual gallery, so you have a space where you can actually look at images that are either which you upload to your device, or you have them downloaded from the internet. And the newest version will have Giphy support, so you can have animated GIFs and have a laugh when you walk through the gallery in the evening. And then there's a Pac-Man clone, where you actually have to collect all kinds of things really quickly in order to not get caught by the enemies. I kind of exchanged Pac-Man with a spaceman theme in the newest version, so just as an announcement up ahead. So because I was a bit afraid of legal issues there, and the spaceman theme is much more pretty. So look out for the AppLab version to come, and then the community can also create worlds themselves. So there's a Unity plugin which you can download, and there's an offline editor which visualizes what you've done, and makes it really easy to create your own worlds and get started with that. And I'm really, really happy to have the first two worlds appear now. One is a hunt the button game, where you have to I didn't know the genre before that it existed, but it's really cool. You have to go into a zone, and then you have to look out for a button. So you have to search where is a button which I can press, and it can be hidden under carpets or whatever, and you have to just go around, and then it opens the door to the next zone. And I think there are like 20 different zones in that community world already for hunting buttons. It's really fun. And the other one is also cool. So I'm always so I have so many plans what I want to do, and then suddenly somebody from a community starts it. So he created a tower game. So you have to go up and down tower. So you walk around. You have a bit of like a plank experience, because you have to maneuver over things. Then there are obstacles coming and so on. And the mean thing is there's no checkpoint system yet. So it's a bit of a Flappy Bird experience. So it's really hard to get to the end. But you always want to reach the end, so it's really fun, and I'm really looking forward to making those worlds public as well. And then there's a demo world, which just showcases how all it works. It's on GitHub, and you can also download it. So that's basically one of those things. Do you want to go? Well, let's ask some questions first, and then we go through the maze together and maybe look at that.
I have a question.
Has somebody played the game here, or has some suggestions, or wants to propose some cool new stuff? I'm always open
I have a
for
question
feedback and ideas.
more about like your strategy. You have like this really cool non-Euclidean geometry system basically that can be plugged into almost any experience. So my question is, are you spending more time building your own levels and the experience itself, or are you spending more time now building the infrastructure for other developers?
Very good question. So I'm I'm asking it myself from time to time. So I have currently it's 50-50. In the last 3 months I have spent much more time building the infrastructure, because I really wanted to enable the community to get those levels out, and people, they have all these cool ideas about, hey, can I have a checkpoint system? How can I get enemies to aim at me and shoot at me and so on? And what traVRsal does is this SDK that I have is really a very high level game development experience by now. So it really gives you lots of building blocks that you otherwise have to really build yourself. So you have all, like, there's multiplayer coming in the future, so you have that simply included. You have all kinds of enemy detection systems, shooting interactions, and so on. And it's mostly declarative. So you just say this object should behave like that, and this object should behave like that, and then the world is simply built procedurally. And that is a lot of work to actually provide and make it easy to use. But it pushes, of course, the whole development environment forward. So I like that kind of work. It's a bit more where I'm coming from. So I'm from the enterprise development environment. So I'm good with getting the servers up and running, getting the infrastructure to work, getting all those things being fast and so on. And then I'm always happy when people have these cool game ideas. But I also try to push my levels forward, but at a slower pace.
Cool.
You mentioned that there was somebody doing a tower game version of your concept. How do you deal with elevation? How do you so I understand going, 3 DOF left, right, and back and forward, but up, down, how does that work?
So up, down, there are 2 concepts of 3 which are important. So so walking is one of those locomotion techniques that works really well in impossible spaces. The other one are elevators that work really well. So you have like a moving platform that takes you up and down. Falling is, of course, a valid technique. So there's gravity, so you can go down a ledge and then you fall down. And I have also horizontally moving platforms now. So because one of the big issues with impossible spaces is you only have a world that is as big as your play space, which makes it a bit claustrophobic. And I now developed a mechanism to put 2 or 3 or any number of zones next to each other. So you can see, for example, the other zone in the distance, and you can take some sort of moving vehicle, let's say a minecart or a space elevator or whatever, and it will transport you horizontally there, like on a moving platform, and seamlessly put you into the next impossible space, so it's a bit tricky to end up in the exact location where you need to be, because your play space is of course the same. Then you just continue walking after you had this kind of being moved, and this now works really nicely. So you can combine all those mechanisms now, and then I see people dropping off again.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Oh,
here we go again.
Uh-oh.
Oh gosh.
So
it's just like feeling, when's it coming to hit you, isn't it? I don't want to move now.
You should have like a recovery mechanism, like a fire drill of how to get out once you do fall. That type of thing.
Yes. That may be easier to do than actually fixing the problem.
Oh, something just went down again.
Oh gosh. We really need to take care of this.
It seems that it's getting worse. Is this possible?
Oh, no. It could be there's more people here.
It could be more people, yeah.
More stress on the server.
There's only like 13 or 14. We had like 17 here last time.
It's got to have some sort of timing function.
Also thinking about that.
It adds up, I mean, it has to be some seconds from something.
Or like
my theory was it happens on the hour, but it can't be because it's now past the hour.
Oh, someone
launched up in the air.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But it's still better than Artspace, I think.
Still better than Artspace. Thanks, Philip.
Yeah, a lot.
Robin, can we make
along
it?
The proofs.
Can we make it that we can teleport into the traVRsal logo and then walk like hamsters inside of the spinning?
That is a great idea.
That does sound fun.
Hey, Robert, I've got a question for you. One, what gave you the idea to do this? It's a brilliant idea. I love it. And then two, how long have you been working on it?
So I had this idea 1.5 months ago in August or September 2019. And it came to me when I was playing lots of those games. I'm a huge fan of VR for a long time already. So I had all those VR glasses, and anytime you have a new pair of VR glasses, you have to go through the setup, and then in the setup they tell you make space and get a big area, clear everything, and then you end up standing in the middle of your space pushing buttons.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is that now? Why did I just clear out my space? So can't we do anything else with that? And so I started to experiment, and it went really bad. So the technical hurdles were so big, and it was really not my thing in the beginning, and lots of shader stuff and so on. And I didn't know anything about shaders, and then I was close to quitting multiple times on the project, and then I just pushed through, and then so I'm really happy at where it's at right now. It's still not perfect, but I'm happy about the technical foundation. Now it's really content time to really get cool stuff to do into the worlds, have them really alive, and maybe also have some social experiences there.
Yeah. What made it most frustrating? Was it that you were like working on your own alone and hit roadblocks and you're like, I just don't want to do this anymore? What made it so tough?
I had those feelings as well, so it's really cool to have the community come back and really cheer you on and give you some. So every time I get a review on SideQuest, it really helps to get features out. I have to be honest, because then it really shows you're doing something meaningful. Otherwise, sometimes I doubt that. Why am I doing this? I mean, it takes up so much time, and but then I just push through, and it's really cool. And people like it, and I learn a lot of new stuff. But the other stuff was really technical. So placing these portals. So I use stencil buffer. So there are multiple portal techniques. I also write blogs on it. So if you want to read up on how this all works, I have a blog. But I couldn't manage the rendering order, getting this correctly. It always was there were so many visual artifacts all the time when you walked through the levels. and I was tearing out my hair. And I don't have too much hair now, but I was tearing out my hair and was really frustrated because I just couldn't solve it. And then I met some guys I met one person especially who told me, like, maybe you can't solve it 100% all the time, but you can maybe come up with level design restrictions that make sense in your environment, and then use that to your advantage. And so I did that. It worked, and by now I also have solved most of the former technical challenges, so even the design fix are not needed anymore. But it was a long journey for me, and it still is. So
Yeah.
I have a Trello work backlog which has hundreds of items on it.
So I heard you telling Michael earlier that is it 5 weeks into the App Lab approval process?
Yes,
or
I'm 5 labs
submission
into the
process?
App Lab process, exactly. So I'm hoping they pick it up next week or the week after. And I would like to then maybe come back here and have a cool launch party or something, like with all you guys, have a virtual champagne that this is happening. And I really hope also maybe this is the group to look out for, that we have some support then for launching and maybe making some put it on Twitter, put it on YouTube or something, so we get the word out. It will still be free, so I don't charge for it yet. And because I said I want to keep the base platform free, so everybody can create cool worlds and be creative. And once the App Lab has the features for actually having downloadable content, maybe I do some premium worlds, or have something like you can become a VIP. You don't get anything except a virtual crown, but you can support the development. So that's the plan for now.
Awesome.
What's your plan with regards to community moderation? Like, assuming that it grows and grows and you have more people creating content, you'll have to have some sort of moderators and stuff like that, and some kind of limits on showcasing other people's apps. Have you thought about how that might work?
It's a very good question. And there are multiple dimensions. So one is, of course, during the development, you need some sort of space. So currently I use Discord, and I think that's the good tool to use to collaborate. And I think we need to have Discord channels per world, so you have a focused discussion on those. But if this gets traction and multiple people commit worlds, then if you look at my main menu, I have only 6 spots to showcase featured worlds, and then I have a browser to see all the other worlds. So I can rotate the featured worlds, of course, but I can then have unlimited ones in the browser. But then you get into questions of how do you sort them? Can you rate them? Can you give feedback and so on? So it's like in the store in the end, and you get all those things like VR chat and Rec Room has. So you have to, I guess, look at a similar feature set for discovery. It's not rocket science, I think, but needs to be easy to understand. It should be very accessible. I try to cut features rather than add them, and to really make it accessible. And any suggestions are always welcome.
Should we take a walk?
Yeah,
Let's take a walk. Let's go inside.
This is
And
going to
I can
get
maybe
crazy.
explain a bit what happens typically. So you have those labyrinth-like. So imagine it's really dark now, and you only have a flashlight. That makes it really creepy. And then you can, and of course you are much taller in the labyrinth when you play it in VR. So this is now the giant version of it.
So you'd normally be doing this without a joystick?
Yes, exactly. You just walk through. So this is created in your play area.
I love
Like
that.
What is the minimum size of the play area
Yeah.
required for it to
So it's
work?
1.5 meters or 4.8 feet.
Okay.
Okay.
So I managed to get it down really small.
That is really small.
Yes, and it works. So when you look at the bottom here, you see the illustration a bit like I count in tiles. So you see these are tiles now, the squares. And in the smallest area, you have 3 by 3 tiles where you can walk around.
And the tile
the
is
more-
matched to a standard size? Is it a
It's
meter?
adjusted
a
to
half
your
meter?
play area. So the tile also
Okay.
grows and shrinks depending on how
Yeah.
big the play area is.
Mm-hmm.
Do you keep track of how far your users walk?
Oh, that's
yes, exactly. In the end, you see how far you walked. You see that, and you also see in the main screen how far you walked overall, and you can also share that so people in the multiplayer can see that. And it's amazing.
Do you have
it's
averages?
kind of a fitness experience.
Sorry, do you have averages? Like do you know of how many users you've had? How often they walk? 500 meters
I have those
in a
numbers.
session.
Yes, I do have those numbers. I need to look it up, but it's amazing. So I think I managed 1,000 kilometers or more already of people walking inside of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so typically when you do one level, it's between 100 and 150 meters, which is quite a distance. When you do the Pac-Man or Spaceman level, you actually did some exercise after that, because I have leaderboards now per world, so each world can have a leaderboard, and it can also define what type of leaderboard it wants to have, like just collecting points, or should it be a speed run leaderboard, or an accuracy leaderboard, like if you can you shoot targets with high accuracy and so on. And especially when you do a speed run on Pac-Man or Spaceman, you know what you did afterwards. That's a nice fitness experience, so I can recommend that. But don't bump into the furniture.
How do you prevent other people from walking through walls?
You cannot, because the space doesn't move. So in the past, you could do a puzzle. So there are puzzles in those games. Also procedural puzzles, like you have to solve certain combinations, or you have to press buttons in a certain order and so on. And then a door opens. And in the past, you could simply go through the door and you're in the next zone. Now with the App Lab release, you have to solve the puzzle. Otherwise, you always walk around in circles in the same zone, and you cannot progress. So you have to use those kinds of tricks. I will employ like one of those Half-Life mechanisms of when you walk into a wall, the screen will fade out. So this will come. But actually, it's not the most urgent thing, because if you look at people, how they play, they never walk into the walls. It's only when people are stuck. It's amazing. They really respect the architecture of the world because you walk through it.
I think it has to do with the physicality, right? Since you move your own body instead of just use a joystick or so.
Exactly.
You of course obviously have respect even about virtual walls then.
Yes. And also about heights. So when you have heights, or when you have things like that.
Are you playing with that? Because I can see this lifting thing up there.
Yes, exactly. So this is one of those traps, which of course, when you play the real game, it's much closer to the bottom here. And you have to move your head. So I have those traps that come from the top. I have traps that come from the side. So in the pyramid-like experience, and it's dark, and you only have a flashlight. And
are there sound cues that so that you have, let's say, like a hint that there might be a trap or so?
Yes, really important. The cues were a bit too loud in the past, so when you play the current SideQuest version, it's traps everywhere. In the new App Lab release, it's 3D sound, and it really the closer you come, the louder it gets, and so on. So that's much nicer.
Cool.
And this is all procedurally placed, so you simply say, I want to spawn 10 of those traps in my world, for example, and it will figure out the distribution and the best place to put it, and you can have restrictions on that and say, I don't want to have it next to so not two traps should be next to each other, otherwise you cannot cross it. So it's really mean if you do that. So, and you can have decorations on those levels and so on. It will create some anything. So it's like a little bit of a Houdini thingy, where you can define lots of rules and restrictions, and then this is all then spawned for you, and it's automatically adapted to the play space of players. So you can play this world in a 3x3 zone, but also in a 8x8, 10x10 if you want to. But then you never get out of the labyrinths. Good luck with that.
That's cool.
So you say it's multiplayer working, right?
I have an internal alpha where I play in so I have it working that you can join a group, that you can form a group, that you have people to discover, that you can talk with each other, you see the other avatars, and a host can launch a world. This is where I'm currently at. So you cannot, it's a shared created world, but you cannot manipulate the world together yet.
Okay.
So this will come next, and then I'm thinking of multiple modes. The easiest one is a collaborative mode. No, it's not. The easiest one is you do a speed run in your own incarnation of the world, but you can see where the other player is at. So this will be the first one, because then I don't need to manipulate the world, and then, but you can already talk, and it's already cool.
So it's procedurally generated for all the players, basically the same. So they see the same.
It's the one with the smallest play space is the leading play space, so to say. So once you form a group, you see this is the common play space.
Cool.
It tells you 2 by 2 meters or something, and then everybody. So the host is generating the world, and it's then sending it over to all the other people, and they instantiate it.
Does it work in reverse? Because let's say your forward progress, you're moving procedurally generating in forward direction. Can you retrace your steps, or does that turn into another procedural thread?
No, the world is generated up front, and you can go in any direction. So it's a consistent world, and also enemies don't spawn behind you by accident or something. So they are where they are. They move coherently in the impossible spaces, and there's no mean tricks that are implied. So it's consistent, and you can also save that. And so one feature you have already is once you finish the world, you can post it as a challenge to others. So others can play the exact same world in an asynchronous multiplayer, and try to beat your score. And when you do it, you earn points for the global leaderboard.
That's cool.
The one thing I don't get when you're talking about multiplayer or regenerating the same environment for different people, each person has a different environment physically. Maybe you have a wide section on the left, and then it gets narrow on the right, and then everybody's got their furniture in a different place. How do you navigate through that?
Yeah, so the game currently supports only rectangular areas, so not an L-shape type of play area. So in multiplayer, the smallest common rectangle will win. So this is the one that is taken as the world, which is going to be created.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys have ideas, then always drop into the Discord and bring up cool world ideas. I'm always collecting, and sometimes things are really easy to do, surprisingly, and sometimes it's really hard. So never hold back on ideas.
Did you try on Azure buildings?
What is that?
Azure, he creates.
Azure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
MC.
No, I didn't yet, but I would like to do a switched gravity version of you can walk somewhere and then you kind of turn to the side when you go there and walk to the next stairs and so on. This would be really cool. What I want to do is, so one idea that I have is you see somehow like a miniature zone in front of you of what is to come, and maybe you can manipulate such a zone and you see it changing in the distance, and then when you walk there, you either zoom in or out, and you actually you naturally walk into this other zone, which you manipulated before. So I think that's really easily doable actually with the tech, although it sounds difficult. But I think it would be really a nice experience just by walking there.
I see a crossover with Panoptic, like a big player controlling that, and the little guy has to solve the.
Nice, yeah. Maybe we should have a collaboration there.
With pleasure.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very nice.
So you say that also you have one, let's say, space or one room, and it connects to a next like area with a different
Yes.
style. Is that as a whole generated procedurally, or when you reach the next zone, then that gets procedurally generated?
So there are multiple concepts employed, and also they change depending on how you construct your world. So each zone is created procedurally, and also the order of the zones can be created procedurally. And I have a concept which I call a journey. So you can, for example, define, I want to have my intro zone first, and then there are some labyrinths, and then I want to have my hero asset room with the puzzles and so on. Or I want to have then two of those other rooms mixed in between, so you can give some restrictions to those numbers and say, please create a world out of that. And this, the nice thing is, then each time you play, you have a different order of the rooms, you have different layouts and so on. Also, the puzzles are different each time. And it will also mix it up. So, and the challenge is now to create enough zones that this is now really interesting and so on. I just added a cool feature last week where you can now also say, I want to spawn items depending on the progress of the zone. So you can, for example, say in the beginning, there are no enemies. When you reach like 30%, I did this now in the shooting environment, there should be suddenly lasers coming in between. So you have lasers moving in the walls, and you have to duck around and or you have to shoot them to disable. And then you can say, if I'm close to the end, there should be lasers which you cannot destroy. So you can build up progression. Now, very simple in the just by describing it in the world. So that was surprisingly easy to do, but I was struggling before to come up with a good concept.
That's good. Awesome.
Yeah, and then you have all kinds of randomization where you can say, I want to have random skyboxes either per zone or per world. So every time it's a different, maybe day of the time of day and so on, or you want to have different music being played and so on. So you can randomize all kinds of things.
I think this with like some like gaze tracker based map generation would be so cool. Like you're walking in a maze and you get to like a dead end and then you turn around and everything's different.
Like
be trippy.
What was it called? Antechamber.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I actually, yes, this could work. So I think it's actually easy to do with triggers and then making the portal visible behind you. So actually that's a very nice idea. So I could try that out. Like a magic world where you have to solve something. I had a different mechanism initially, how to construct the environment, which was, I called it the corridor-based environment. So you walk down a corridor, turn, and then, of course, you don't see the area behind you, so you can exchange what is behind you in the game. Of course, this has level building restrictions. You always need corridors and things like that in order to make it happen. So the new approach is much better because you can have open environments and they seamlessly blend. And it's also much faster. But there, I was close to those magic tricks. Yeah. If you turn fast enough, then you suddenly see the old world. Yeah.
And your development environment is a Unity plugin.
For the
that's
worlds,
right?
yes. So I created a plugin.
Yeah.
So there are two things which you can do. So one concept is, if you don't want to touch Unity and you simply want to exchange something in the worlds, I have a modding concept where you can say, okay, I don't need to open Unity. I just create a JSON file and put some descriptions in it. And this is mainly used for the gallery to have your custom images and have some custom orders and so on. And so you can exchange elements in the existing worlds. And then you have a Unity plugin to create new worlds. And this is an SDK which you can simply add as a package in Unity.
Can you use your own assets if you don't mind? Like, could I bring, instead of your ghost or the space guy, could I bring in one of my assets from something else?
Yes, you're welcome. So you can use any assets you want, and the limitation is basically what you can package into an addressable. So you can have every Unity component. You cannot do C# coding, but I have a node-based, like I have a visual scripting tool support, which you can use to create logic, and I have many predefined logic components like move things up and down and rotate and so on, enemy behaviors, bullet hell components and so on. So you can already use those, and then you have those more advanced visual flow things which you can also use to describe logic. There are limitations in those worlds, like you cannot use transparent objects very good, and particle systems are also a bit difficult because you cannot see them through the stencil buffer. So you can only use them inside of a zone, but not see it through in two different zones. But the restrictions are rather low, so actually you can do a lot of stuff.
Interesting.
So feel invited. So if you have any questions to world building, we can also build something together if you want to. I do this with some people. So we have a shared GitHub repo, and every time somebody is like stuck or so, I can check it out and do some adjustments and so on, and commit it back.
Do you do it full time or in your spare time?
It's a spare time project, but I took a sabbatical last year from my job, where I spent 8 months full time on the project to really get it to this app lab level now, to say really get it working into a state where I'm happy with. So, but that was an intense period. So now it's only spare time, and I still get a lot of stuff done, but it's more difficult, of course, with a job. On the other hand, the job gives me enough freedom to buy any asset I want. So that's I can just buy stuff, and or hire somebody if I want to, or get on Fiverr, get something created, and so on.
I'm enjoying doing these interviews in the space. It's really cool to have just to see your world and to hear you talking about the world within your world. I wish we could do this more.
Yeah, that's cool.
This is immersive.
I mean, that's the biggest advantage in comparison to the Altspace version, let's say, right? That's the point.
Yeah, I guess that's what they're trying to do, but it's hard to have all those assets in one space, and just performance-wise.
Yep.
Now all we need is one of the Space Ghost guys running around and some shooters and stuff, you know? We can
Yeah.
we can animate it.
Cool. So thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for having this discussion. I had a blast.
Thanks for showing it.
Thanks, Robert. That was really interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
We need to get some clapping emoticons in here.
Oh yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That's a must-have.
You need to copy from Altspace still to have the hearts and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Do you have
Be cool if
also
it
having
made
the
clapping
hand
noises when you
animations
clap.
from Ready Player?
Yeah.
Only it's a bit static.
Oh.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for coming, Jimmy. See you next time.
See ya.
Yeah.
Bye,
Yeah, Jimmy.
See you, Jimmy.
Don't tell Justin, but I also have a t-shirt cannon.
What?
Oh my goodness. Where is this coming from?
Where did you hide it?
These won't give you anything. You double tap a button and it comes up. But I don't think you guys can do it. I double tap B and it comes
Everybody's
up.
tapping buttons now.
I'm still waiting for the RTX 3090 cannon.
Someone grabbed the t-shirt.
Uh-oh.
You have
Oh,
to
yeah.
grab it from the air,
Good
I guess.
catch.
There are no colliders.
It's kind of hard to do in it.
Oh,
Nice.
thanks.
Good catch.
Yes.
Yeah, you got it.
You
I think.
did it.
I got it. That's a nice mini game.
You need to make one that the last person to grab a T-shirt is subjected to marketing emails for the rest of their life.
I like it.
Well, you get into a problem if this one is directly connected to Shirtinator, and every time you start to shoot, it's generating an order over there.
Justin forgot to tell me that, and we're now $300 in debt.
Yeah.
That's shipping to Australia.
That's shipping. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm making it rain.
Let's go for it. Yeah. Awesome.
Can I catch it myself?
What are the next plans for the Robin? What are the next plans for the environment here?
Well, fixing the bug where people fall through the floor is pretty high up on the list.
Really? Why?
They
That's a
reverse
big
it
one.
now. You launch up in the air.
Yeah.
No,
Well, I think that actually does happen. People have flown up. And also making it so people can actually upload their own assets without having to go through us. So they can put stuff on the website. They can have just fields where they enter in like 3 pictures and a 3D model, and then it creates a booth for them. And we can dynamically switch between booths. That'd be really cool.
Oh, that does sound cool.
And when you're
awesome.
working on it, check out these little, how they're called here, those little items when I click on you. Because if someone hasn't got a picture, the last picture stays.
Yeah, I made the note of that just now. It's a bug.
Ah, interesting.
too.
Okay.
It's not a problem when everybody's nice, but if somebody was to put a bad image and then it became your image, that might be bad news for us.
Yeah.
Ah, Robin has an image, but you have a different hair color now.
Yeah.
His T-shirt
click
doesn't
it, if you-
match.
Nice feature. Oh.
Do you mean the
Very
hair?
Yeah, the color in VR isn't quite right. Oh, the nice feature hair, yeah.
And also Alex wrote back on Twitch. He just explained that he's doing that thing with his fiancée, as far as I can say. And they're a couple and engaged, and they're working on this production. And they
that's
started
cool.
up with doing maps for Beat Saber.
Hmm.
So that was their
Ah.
starting point. And then they started to develop their own stuff.
I know another guy who got into VR development through modding for Beat Saber.
Oh.
Seems to be a popular route into the VR industry.
Yeah, why not?
I just noticed that you can point the ray at your own head and follow
Yeah.
yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, not really. I did that 3 times, but it's always...
Just don't do it in
it's
public.
already there. Yeah, here, again.
The whole server's crashing now with endless loops.
Oh yeah, you
Getting
can click
notified
with
by
one hand and
yourself.
then follow with the other. Just keep going.
It's like a singularity event happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found that sometimes I'm struggling to hear, like when we're in a bigger space or when we're on different sides of the booth, I can't hear people on the other side quite often, and I'm trying to think of a way to make
need a
that
microphone.
better.
You
Yeah,
cancel the
something like that.
microphone.
But I think it's already much better than Altspace, where you also always have to cram together to hear anything. So
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
really nice to be in the open areas and hear lots of stuff. The voice quality is amazing.
The sound is really, really good in comparison.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I'd recommend Vivox if anyone's
Having a
thinking of building
possible
multiplayer.
space helps getting people
Yeah,
together.
unfortunately, it's Unity only.
Yeah, that's a shame. That, I guess they're probably not going to open it up because it is owned by Unity.
To whom?
I think they
mean-
were open before, but when they were bought by Unity, they closed it.
Oh, that's a shame.
What did they close?
Vivox.
Ah, okay.
Sound plugin.
Okay, I wish you a good night or good day, whatever time it is where you are. It was nice
Yeah,
seeing
you
you
too,
all.
Philip.
Yeah, nice
Take
seeing you.
care.
See you, Philip.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm also going to take the chance to to go. Thanks a lot for having us. It was really cool.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. It was really interesting to hear you talk about Panoptic.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hopefully see you
And
again.
Good luck with
Cheers.
the rest of the development for the app then.
Thank you. Yeah, feel free to drop by anytime you want.
Okay.
Bring
Cheers.
some fries and chocolate. Bye.
I'll try.
So I'm also on my way. So
Thanks, Robert. I'll speak to you soon.
Bye.
have fun
See
in
you,
the
Robert.
labyrinth here. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Cheers.
See ya.
Bye.
How is he so high up?
I don't know, maybe
He's
he's,
standing
are you
on top of
standing up,
me.
Mike?
I'm standing on the shoulders of Chris.
Oh yes,
We do that.
standing
It's
upon the
our
shoulders
thing.
of
Can I
giants.
stand on your shoulders?
Can we? Yeah. Can we?
How many
Ah,
people
come
can we get
on.
on this?
We can build a tower
Oh my God.
until we get up there.
Is there a jump button?
No, there's no jump button. That's another feature we need.
Can you teleport on my head?
You teleport
No, I
on
don't
top
think
of each
that works.
other? Oh,
Yeah.
you teleport inside of each other.
So I
Next
know
week
now
we'll have a
what's
human
in your
pyramid.
head. Not much.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah. Empty heads.
What's new with
So
your
any-
gloves, Lucas?
So right now I am finishing up the Bluetooth integration, so no wires. Especially
Cool.
now that Oculus AirLink came out, it's a pretty timely feature. So now I don't have to be tethered to my PC, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
I still have to connect to the PC for now because it's running off of SteamVR. But we're also looking into getting the Open Gloves driver built into SteamVR, like having it on the Steam store so people can just download it without going off of GitHub.
Yeah,
there's a
that'd
lot
be
of
so much
steps that,
easier.
I'm sure you guys applying for App Lab know like
Yeah.
how hard it is to actually get approved.
So many hoops to jump through.
So I'm guessing Steam is probably a little easier than that.
Yeah, Steam. I never actually got onto the Steam store, but I went through most of the application process, and it does seem like App Lab has more requirements, I think, but hopefully that will kind of balance out over time. But
Yeah.
definitely, you guys, you being on Steam would be a huge thing because it just opens it up to so many more people that, yeah, like you say, wouldn't be able to get
Definitely. Yeah.
the GitHub.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also talking to a couple sources that might help me mass produce some gloves, like as far as kits maybe, and sell them to people so they can actually build them without having to 3D print everything.
Nice.
But I can't talk specifics yet.
Yeah, fair enough. Congratulations. That sounds like a really good progression.
Yeah, thanks. It's tricky with going to college and stuff, so I have to find a deal that doesn't, tie me down too much.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, when that thing works, basically, and they can more or less mass produce it, this is a leap forward because it's so much affordable. So much more people will go into haptics and try it also for development, I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
We were talking about TikTok and the difference between TikTok users and YouTube users and Twitter users in terms of like building an app or building some hardware. And kind of the idea was that maybe TikTok users tend to be more, I think you spoke about this as well, tend to be a little bit more kind of like, oh, that's cool, and then move on. Or like, that guy's doing a cool thing, and then move on. Whereas maybe YouTube or Twitter are more invested. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, I agree. If you want to maintain someone's attention on TikTok, you have to have something really flashy, like something that can get their attention, but then also like keep them from swiping away. So like a couple of my earlier videos where my first prototype of the glove looked like a skeleton on top of my hand, like it looks like some torture device. Like that really got people's attention. Which like in a way worked out, even though the glove was kind of ugly. Like it actually helped me kickstart off pretty well.
Do you have any, like, do you know how many people actually click through and how many people like move on, sort of upgrade and get more involved and maybe follow the Discord from TikTok?
So I use Beacons, which is like a link sharing page thing that like you put it on your page and then gives a bunch of other links. I haven't checked it in a while, but the numbers weren't that high. Like the majority of people just follow the TikTok and keep watching videos, as opposed to like YouTube. Like TikTok took me like 4 months to get like 1,000 people on the Discord server, and then YouTube, just posting one video on YouTube, got me from that 1,000 to like now 3,700.
Really? Oh, that's
Discord.
interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a boost. Well, okay, YouTube is so big, basically, and so many people probably stop by there. Because your topic is quite unique. I don't think that there are too many, do-it-yourself things in that direction.
Yeah, there's a
think
couple
we'll
other
find
gloves
too
out
much.
there, but I haven't found anyone else going for the dirt cheap DIY kind of side of things.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
most of them use flex sensors, which are really expensive.
Yeah, sure.
Is it maybe an option for you to contact technical universities? Because I can imagine that they might be interested in have some gloves of you for their students to test and work with it.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a pretty good point. I've actually been reached out to by a couple medical students that want to use my gloves for like a research project to see if they can like help improve like education for like surgery and stuff like that. And I'm not like super involved with that, but I kind of gave them the green light, like go ahead and do whatever you want with it.
Nice.
Because the project's open source right now, so anyone can build their own and put it to whatever use.
Mm-hmm.
And the components can be basically, let's say, purchased anywhere in the world. Do you know if that's available?
Yeah, so it's a little tricky when you get into like global availability. Like as far as like the same links from like Amazon or AliExpress don't work. But there are like other links that like we have a big community in Discord of just people putting up links that are specific to different countries. Yeah, I actually spoke at a podcast about VR in Brazil. And on the podcast, we had to find the links for people that were actually trying to build their gloves because like import taxes and stuff mess up all the prices and everything there.
Yeah, for sure. For Eastern Europe, probably the same, or Africa, maybe that will be really hard, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are things with Help Yourself, Mela? Is there any updates on your super secret project that you can share?
Well, next week on Friday we have a really big end presentation of our project in our university, so the official end of the project, but of course we work further on it. And I'm a little bit stressed because I try to do like 20 assets for this new for the presentation, and we want to make a build at this date and test it and have many new assets in the levels, maybe 1 or 2 new levels too. And I'm basically just sitting all day on my desk and drawing the textures every day. My wrist is hurting, but yeah, gotta do it.
So what's the presentation like? Is it like do you stand on a stage and do it, or?
Yeah, pre-COVID, it was like a festival. Our university called it Creativity Ruse, and that was like 2 or 3 days long in a city nearby. And everyone could come, and there were a little booth like here, but in real life. And everyone showed their master project and bachelor projects and animations and games and VR and AR, web design, media, graphic design, movies, like short movies with 20 minutes. But this year, everything is online, and we had to pre-made our presentation, and it's not that great for us, so it doesn't feel that wow. Quite sad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame, really.
So how is that working with your university or your school, basically, when you finish the project? Do they keep a share of that somehow? Or
I think we already got the legal rights, the copyright stuff from the university, so now everything we mess up, we are at fault and not can't go to the university and say, please help us. But for the presentation, we still have to put the university logo in it, but I think after that, don't have to. But I'm not sure.
Right.
Yeah. And next week we got a pitch for funding 2 days before
cool.
the presentation, and I'm so,
Yeah.
oh, I don't have input. Really important because we could get money, so we still need to do that next week, and right now it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bad
good luck
timing, I
with that.
guess. Yeah, good luck.
Thanks. I hope we get money so we can work even more on the project.
Can you tell us who you're pitching to?
It's called RVS Impact, something like that. That's RVS. What is
Okay.
RVS in Austria? Maybe you know.
AWS or
Michael,
AVS?
are you there?
I'm there, yeah, but I didn't. How is it spelled, or how is it?
RWS, Arbeiter Wirtschaftskammer.
Okay. Well, basically some economic funding from the, not the state, but it's a one of those bodies, those public bodies.
Public body. Okay, that's good.
We even applied on 2 different things. So we applied one in February when we had to do a business plan and a cost plan and a pitch presentation, and now we are waiting for over since February. And the other thing is next week the pitch, but at the same time we will get the information if we get the other funding in this time space. So next week, and there's right now a lot of to do and a lot of things.
Yeah, busy.
No, but it's going forward. That's good.
Yeah, going forward. And there's I mean, they're a lot of work, but I'm proud of them.
So will those assets go in? Will those assets go into the game? Will we be able to see them when they're finished?
I hope so. I will finish the textures this weekend or Monday, and I hope my programmer boys will implement them in the game in the already existing levels. So right now the levels are really just more like blockouts, and some assets are really finished and some are not, and that they will be exchanged.
I think I'm going to have to call it a day. It's getting quite late here. It was good to talk, everyone, and hopefully see you very soon. See you next week. Take care.
Nice to
See you next week.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
See ya.
He's still there with the camera. I don't know why he's using a Betacam camera from 1988 or something. A bit outdated.
It's vintage.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's easier to see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
But
If you would have a smartphone, camera, you wouldn't see him.
Well,
But we
that
could use an
depends on the
Ari
smartphone.
or something like that. Really expensive camera.
Yeah, Alex.
Yeah, or a huge floating eye.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Eyeball? Oh.
The one from Lord of the Rings, you know, the big one on the tower.
Sauron. This.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That makes you feel comfortable.
And whenever you look at it, you drop down.
Yeah, exactly. Or you freeze
Your
to
name is
stone
Durban.
like with the Medusa.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice.
Oh man.
And we cannot
Well,
fall through the floor anymore. Not in here.
For me, it always happened when I walked like right on the stairs over there. I don't know if
Yeah,
that
I
was like the
think-
broken spot.
There are some gaps, in my opinion, because you see that when you try to transport over there, to jump over there, and you see that it's turning red, the indicator. So there's something missing. So that seems to be normal, but yeah, the other one I don't know. I mean, just put in another one. Just put another collider in there. Just the first one fails, the second one will maybe keep. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't think it's actually a problem of us. It's a problem on the server side. So the collision, the physics processing on the server side gets kind of messed up.
Yeah. Well, it's a special update on Unity, the late update, and probably it's just not doing it anymore. So everything's gone.
Wouldn't hurt to have a button to recenter yourself if you do get stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or fly mode.
Or fly.
Yeah,
I feel
exactly.
like that would get abused.
Yeah.
And I would love those outspace emojis because when someone wants to say, yeah, that's awesome, and what is this? They can't do this all the time.
Yeah.
Or hand tracking, natural
Or
hand
hand
tracking.
tracking.
Michael, that would be a good implementation if you could help them. So we can get rid of the controllers and we can clap.
I mean, hand tracking would definitely be cool, but
Isn't there occlusion?
Hmm?
Like, when you touch your hands together, doesn't it, like, break the hand tracking on Oculus?
well, it depends. Mostly, but mostly one hand will stay and the other one will probably go. So it depends how you tangle your hands up. It does work to a certain degree. I think the biggest problem is I wonder how the network code will work with switching the controllers, because that's what I'm working currently on. Because when you switch from hand tracking to controllers, we will get new controllers, and they have to be added to the network, and the others have to be removed. And I think they could get a bit wonky.
Yeah, that's right. It's even not really well working when you're in the interface. In the standard interface of the Quest, sometimes I've got problems with switching. So in that case, yeah.
Well, I'm actually using it in the game, that you can switch between hand tracking and controller tracking with the new exercise tool mode. So you can dedicate the controller to an exercise tool like a weight, and then you can, when you do the normal exercises, you have hand tracking, and then you will see where you put down your exercise tool, and then when it moves to the weight mode, then you pick it up and it will be a weight, and and then you can put it down and use the hand tracking. So I'm actually using 4 controllers, but not at the same time.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Well, as long as you're using Quest 1 or 2?
I'm using Quest 2 because I have both, but actually my Quest 1 is now collecting dust. But the cool thing is that the 60 Hz hand tracking, so that's really the huge feature that I like.
Right. Ouch. Going on here.
Is the Quest? Is it possible to make sticker tracking with the Quest? So you could have
AR tags or something?
Yeah.
No. I'm not sure how the pass-through mode will work when they can do tracking with the keyboard, but it works only for very certain keyboards, and I think they have to train it in their model to actually recognize it. But you can't use you don't have access to the cameras. You can't use them.
So sad, because you could make so much more. For example, like a paper weapon, and you put those stickers on it, and you have it in your hands, and the same thing in 3D, and you slot in goblins. I don't know.
Well, actually, I'm working on something not exactly like that, but kind of like that. That you have the phone as an additional tracker, and you can add additional stuff with your phone. So the idea was to have foot tracking for the fitness stuff, but the thing I'm using now, the AR core, is not fast enough. So I will probably use the phone for exercise equipment. If you don't have hand tracking, and if you're using the controllers, then you have to have another tracker that you can use for your weights, and you could use that for other things as well. Yeah. And it works kind of okay. So I mean, currently it's not implemented as an actual controller. It just shows up as your